Welcome to the Mr. Insurance Podcast. I have my very good friend, a accomplished businessman, and happens to be my neighbor as well, Mark Govero with Aegis Administration. So welcome here. Mark, this is your first time being on a podcast, and I know like a lot of people, they get weirded out in the camera and everything else, but we'll go easy on you this time.
I appreciate it. And I appreciate you having me as well.
Oh, you're welcome, man.
You bet.
Like I go and letting people know exactly what it is that you do. And I know that you're pretty much like one of the original OGs. Like you have had your company for quite some time. You kind of entered into a newer market, and you took the business that was at the time new at the time with
Right.
that, and you have developed this into this monstrous business that it's the home. Am I allowed to say warranties?
So yeah. So I started off with the vehicle service contract back in 07, and I started that company. We started around the time where it was the whole industry on that vertical was pretty new. So there was a lot of learning. And throughout the years, we truly focused on relationships. So I specialize in renewals, follow up for their customers, dealer customers, and we got really good at it. And the reason why we transitioned over to that side was we started in 07, and then 09. There was a very large company in a similar that was doing similar business, and highly there were a lot of problems with this company all over the media.
U.S. Fidelis.
And whenever that occurred, our business dropped. We had absolutely no affiliation with them, but our business dropped with almost 50% overnight.
I think there was a lot of misunderstanding with that. And what's funny about that, we both kind of, maybe that's like the sacred area for the VSC related guys or whatever down by us, because like it's literally in my backyard.
Yeah.
So
literally.
Literally. Yeah. There's so with that business, the things that I looked at with it, greed and like these guys are making a lot of money, and they didn't come from much. They come from small towns and that kind of thing. And they made mistakes just like everybody else does.
100%.
We're all imperfect, but you have to look at what did these people do that really shaped this industry. Like I would say they
completely shaped the industry.
A complete mark on the map in the St. Louis area, which it became a breeding grounds for these VSC companies.
Well, it's now everywhere. It's now California, Texas, New Jersey, Florida. Yeah. They are everywhere. But I will say the industry itself has it's growing, and it's becoming much more sturdy and solid versus the old days. And I mean, I will say this about those guys is, they made a lot of mistakes, right?
They were good businessmen, though.
But they were in the process of fixing fixing all of the mistakes that they were making, right?
Well,
but it was too late. Because it was too late,
the media is going to blow up a good story.
Without a doubt, right.
And then the American greed story and the way that was shaped and everything else. It always just made me curious as to, like, we all look at the different levels that we can be able to get to and what it's going to take to be able to get to those levels and everything. And you look at guys that you, like, were in your area and the guys that and that have developed these different companies. And I mean, I'm sure there's all kinds of different perceptions from people. I know personally, I've taken all kinds of beat downs from, people saying that, something isn't right and I must be, robbing people or whatever it is. And it's quite the opposite.
I do not care about those fans. I don't listen to them.
Right.
It means nothing to me.
It'll keep you up at night.
So whenever that issue happened in 09, my partner and I looked at it and realized that we can never allow another company to have that kind of impact on us.
Yeah.
So we diversified, and we truly focused on remarketing through the idea was to grow it to really any industry. Every industry has a remarketing need. So follow up on customers. How do you get them returned? And if they're on subscription, how do you get them to renew? Based off of because it's a good product, not because, or how do we get them to continue paying without knowing? It's how do you get them to stay a customer for 30 years? How do you get the customer to refer over multiple customers a year because of the business they're being provided? And we got really, really good at it. And in 2022, I ended up selling that company. That's a long partnership to have. So from '07 till 22,
A long time.
that is a really long time. We had some I won't say anything negative on the experience. Everything worked out really well. There were obviously ups and downs, especially towards the end. But the company did not suffer from it. And what I saw, so whenever we went up for sale, and that was kind of one of the caveats is, me stepping, really getting a fresh start, and we had our other company, which is what we were going to discuss, is Aegis.
Yeah.
So during that time, our same time, we had a home warranty call center, a home warranty administrator, and a home warranty obligor.
Yeah.
And we started that back in 16 and 19. The majority of the business that was going to the administrator was sales sold from my call center, right? So whenever I sold my first company, that same day I bought out all of my partners from the other company. I was expecting two of them to stay on very last moment, and I was ecstatic about it, just for the thought of, listen, you have a full life of learning so much, and very rarely do people get the opportunity to start fresh.
Well, I mean, all good things must come to an end.
Sure, yeah. Well, I see this as the
this is a starting point.
This is beyond the starting point. So what the really fun thing about it is whenever I came in, we did change up the entire. We replaced the entire leadership. The reason why was, in the past, a lot of times people in high level positions were buddies, and I think this happens for a lot of companies. Is kind of the political game kind of happens.
Yeah.
And so I saw that with my own eyes, and I was like, I'm not going to make those same mistakes that, or I'm going to try a different technique, based off of what I saw in the past. And I brought in a new leadership team, and it has been extremely exciting. And there's some things that you and I have. So I've been watching your videos, and like Steve, there's so much you and I can relate to on changing an industry.
Yeah.
Industries, what I've noticed is a lot of these big industries have no, if you ask them why they're doing it this way, they're going to just say, because it's always been done that way. There's not much evolution. From commissions, for every aspect is just to follow the leader, and you'll see every insurance company is probably doing the same thing, right? And so I didn't see any evolution, and especially for my industry, the home warranty side. And so I should probably get into this. So we are only focused on the home warranty side. I have wound down my call center.
You have an awesome product, by the way.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
The best that I have seen. And we actually, through our what would say, like the vendor or whatever,
Sure.
Trustway, we actually have one of your products in our arsenal on that. So,
we look to be growing that. So just focusing on the home warranty. So what I did was I did shop around, and I did understand. So I was putting together my growth plan, which if you're out there and you're looking to grow, do yourself a favor and do a growth plan. You'll be surprised of how much you teach yourself. Because
get in touch with Mark.
You.
Yeah, get in touch with Mark. He'll help you grow.
Absolutely not. But I will show you a link to go to where it can show you how to do it. Because it takes a long time, but it does require you to do report on like different competitors, and it makes you do your due diligence to try to hopefully set you up for the success that you're going for, right? So just only focus on the administrators, and what I saw was all of them were very, very. The claims process was very, very similar, which was. It was designed to delay me, not return phone calls, things like that. There were just very common characteristics that were not a customer first approach. It was not the concern from what I saw, at least.
Yeah.
The concern wasn't how do we keep this customer for 30 years. It was kind of what I call like the casino. If the customer paid in only this much, they don't want to pay any claim more than probably with the $100 margin on their end too.
Yeah.
So that's not the way of looking. That's a very short-sighted.
Well, it's like a gambling approach and everything.
is,
You find the best gamblers are actually in the casino a very small amount of time.
Right.
And most of the time they're out doing, the eating at the all you can eat
Right. Yeah. They're
seafood
getting the
bar or
comps.
whatever.
Yeah,
And say,
they're taking
they're
advantage of
going
it,
to the
right.
shows or,
Yeah.
doing whatever, in the clubs or whatever, that kind of thing. But,
I mean, the house is always going to win, though. So if your company is set up and designed as, and so much of their marketing goes out to kind of, it's definitely to draw a picture of their company, but the picture is just, from what I experienced, is just not. They're drawing a picture that's not there.
Yeah.
That's not what I saw, and it's not what the majority of people see. So, and I do believe that there's a way of doing this to be prideful. There's a way of doing this to truly. I'm not coming in with the mindset of I'm here to disrupt this industry. I am coming in to take market share from these guys that I think have taken it for granted for so long, and have allowed an opportunity for someone to.
Well, you were really the first to arrive on the home warranty front. On that, that was something that the only time I ever saw the home warranty stuff show up was like when you were buying a house and the realtor would be like, "Hey, do you want to protect your water heater?"
Right. So that's the main distribution channels for home warranties, and we're actually launching that vertical this month. I think I told you.
You always you're always in the lab with that. I know that you were just busting your ass the last year.
Last year was rough.
Just coming through how to be able to be better, how to create a more strategic approach. That's one of the things I really, really admired with you, that I watch all the things that you do to try and soak it all in and to become better. And, I have a lot of respect for what you've built with your brand, your company, and, just what you guys stand for. It's a whole different vibe. It really is.
I appreciate
that. And it's there was a lot of cleaning up that needed to happen in that industry.
Yes.
Unfortunately, like I said, we go back to the US Fidelis stuff real quick here is that, like I said, those guys, they built this business. They did a lot of really positive things, but with positive, there's also negative thing in there. Right. And you have where you have to look at the good things that happened, because I don't know if all these other things would have sparked had it not been for that. And look at how many people in, I would say a negative light, or, if you're trying to look at it as a positive light, that you have now affected indirectly because of those mistakes, that were made.
I would truly say that their problem was, and I think this is so important, is the company you keep, the advice you take. And I'm pretty sure that they were provided advice that was, whenever you have individuals that are just kind of yes people, where like you're like looking for them for true guidance because it's their expertise, but I do feel like there are some that give you the feedback and advice they give you is geared around, what does he want to hear, which can be dangerous. And because I did think about that, I know one of the things was pulling money from the company personally. That is the CFO. That's an immediate, absolutely not, right? So it makes me. It's hard for me to believe that there was not somebody saying, "Yeah, that's okay to do."
Using your company as your own piggy bank,
absolutely not.
I think getting into when you're first starting your company, I think we dabble in a little guilt in that,
right?
But you get to a certain point, you get to a certain level to where it operates as a corporation.
It's 100%.
I will have my CFO. I mean, we've gotten into battles over different things because she would be protecting our money in the company. I'll be like, well, I want to pull out, I want to do this and everything. She's no. And I'm like,
that is the best trait of a CFO, especially for people like us.
People
like us must have the
that was one of the reasons
with that mindset.
I hired her, because she was not a yes girl.
Right.
She would do what was best for the company and what was best for me. And I didn't always see it. It was like, mom telling you, no, you can't have that or whatever, but it was in my best interest.
Right.
And I tell you, I'm like forever thankful to her because when she came on, the company exploded.
Right.
And it went way up. And it was taking a good CFO to be able to do that, to show you like where your profit margins are, and you have to grow with that business.
Sure, absolutely.
But
you could have a plan prior to knowing that growth is occurring. Yeah. Having a plan prior of your overhead, your technology,
pro forma,
what you're going to be using to make sure that your customers do not get affected by their growth. That's the we're experiencing that right now. But there's a similar. I see a lot of similarities between us, and there's one especially was the going out to we see an industry, and we're does it. So in our industry, there are several distribution verticals, right? There's one of them is obviously the realtor, or title companies, mortgage companies. We just launched that this month. We're really excited. We have a couple of new partners coming on for that. And again, it's geared around our policies are they're design created. If the claim is there, it's going to be approved. And it's not about how can we draw it out. Because every time we speak with one of these customers, we know we're not representing us. We are representing whoever referred it. We're representing the title company, the realtor. That's what's most important to us. So every time we're speaking with a customer, it is over and above, because our mindset is, how do we ensure this customer wants to stay with this partner, with this realtor, use this title company, like knowing like the people they keep are truly looking out for them as well. That's our core focus. But whenever there's also distribution side on the direct to consumer side, right? And whenever I wound down the call center, the only one I kept on was to do our own renewals. But everything else, all the focus, all of the resources were truly purely focused on the administrator. And so not only did the contracts that were coming in from my call center, those are gone now because I completely wound it down. We also had to make those up, and we were incredibly fortunate to have a handful of sellers join us. And since then, it's because listen, I was a seller for so long. I know how this works. And one thing you learn when you go to the other side is truly, I don't want to get too much into this because this is not about, I know what I saw where it was not a situation that sellers were kind of being looked at as like, you experienced it yourself actually, kind of as piggy banks, if you will, from with the lack of transparency, yet the sellers are the ones that spend the money on the marketing, acquire the customers. This is theirs, right?
Yeah.
And the way it should be, it's like just like with you, like you have 5-6 insurance carriers that you use for Trustway, right? Or Select.
Yeah. There's we have more, but
of course
we have.
You do, yeah.
I always say like, don't be a company whore, or like don't be an insurance whore, like stick to a couple of like your core main ones and steadies. Like you have your number ones, 2s, 3s, and then like everybody else is kind of, I don't want to say like you're catching the scraps of it, but it's kind of what it is. There are some times where that's just not a good fit.
Right.
And we have to be able to still try and help that customer. So we have other resources.
Right.
I kind of actually, funny enough, I took the approach from the call centers at the warranty companies to create what I created today.
Right.
So I had noticed in positives, like I said, there were negatives, and there were things like I had gotten into to starting a company prior to this, and then I had just seen a lot of things that I was not happy with, and I didn't really want to be a part of. And so,
like on the insurance side, or the Select side, or Trustway side?
On the Trustway side,
okay.
Sure. So there's some things that I didn't want to really be a part of. But one of the things that definitely was a standout, and something that I learned out of this experience, was these phones rang like crazy, and it was one after the other, and it was just this rapid fire approach. And I was like, man, if I could figure out how to be able to take that and wrangle that beast and create that on an insurance company side, I would have an absolutely electric product.
Sure.
And I found a way to be able to do that. I went through and I have that rapid fire approach, and we mainly stuck to, a higher risk auto and everything else. But we've shifted a lot of that over time, just because, the market has forced us to be able to adapt and to shift and pivot,
right,
and to try to be able to make the business better.
Right.
I would say last year, and I know there's a lot of people that are the same as me. Last year was one of our most difficult years in the insurance business altogether. And I know there's a lot of people that their door shut as a result of it.
Oh, sure.
There's a lot of guys that I know of that are struggling badly. And, like when I say badly, I mean like they're like weeks away from, the wolf knocking on the door, And so the thing is with it, I have learned out of all these things, out of mistakes that I've made, out of different changes that have happened in the market, how to be able to look for the positive, look for the opportunity. And we found that opportunity. When we happened to find it in the power sports, we happen to find it in
the ATVs,
these guys, like, it's crazy to me, right? So these guys arguably have more money than sense, okay? Like you're decking out a UTV that you're going to put on the road, and you're spending, probably $40,000 just for the machine itself,
right?
And then you're going to put another $20,000 at least in equipment, and it's nicer than some people's cars,
100%, right?
And I'd say that, and I'm guilty of it myself because I'm an idiot too, and I practice what I play in, right? So, but. Like we want to be able to drive up to the street to De Beers or De Beers.
Yeah.
We want to be able to get a cheeseburger up there. Well, it used to be, we could be able to go up to, what's the restaurant that just closed up there?
Grotto Grill.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is amazing. I don't know how I'm going to live if they don't come back.
I mean, I think they let themselves open where another person just leases it and just puts a new restaurant there and takes their model. I think they could have, I think it was a lease, from what I read, it was a lease scenario where they kind of agree on price.
They had more cheese what I was saying, they had this pizza that was like 10 cheeses or different kinds of stuff on there. And I mean, we used to love it. It was like an inch thick of cheese. Like
I heard
my inner fat kids coming out.
Yeah.
I got yelled at like when my wife wasn't feeling good and she was like, go get that margarita ice cream. I was like, what do you mean a margarita ice cream? I don't have. Okay, so I went up there. I was like, yeah, the margarita ice cream. She's like, we're out of it. And my wife, she was like, you better tell them, like, go in the back in their stash and don't come home without that crap. And, and I'm like, I don't have it. And I got yelled at over it for not having the damn margarita ice cream, right?
Is Angie pregnant?
No, thank you. No, right. No, none of that. Right. No, she is not pregnant. If she was, I would have questions because I'm fixed. So
that's fair.
So anyway, with what I was saying is getting back to this thing, I seen an opportunity, and it was when everything kind of came crashing down around COVID. And I was out at the Ozarks, and I say this like literally on every podcast. I'm looking around and I'm seeing all these different people that are on their ATVs and UTVs and their go-karts, and they're in the RV parks. And
not affected by COVID at all.
Not at all.
They're living the dream.
They're living the dream. Yeah. Now, there was a bunch of PPP funds or whatever that was going on. I think everybody was living pretty good. Yeah. It was stimulation of the economy.
Well, if they use it for the boats, that's a dangerous one that you're probably going to get.
Right.
Yeah.
Might get flagged on that one.
I did not mess with that stuff when it comes to.
I was kind of felt the same way as well, right? I probably made a mistake of I didn't really engage into the PPP stuff.
Okay. Did you not get a PPP?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
So I was going to say, don't say where they can.
No. But we ended up with. I looked around and I had seen around me what was popping, where had this market shifted to? Like, who was not affected by this?
What's a volume play or an add-on play? Something like that. Yeah.
So we found that was another higher end of a risk, which we were formerly just the bad boys. And now we were able to add the bad boys and their toys, right?
Sure.
So we were able to do that, and we found an awesome market for it. And then we were able to connect with relationships to be able to feed us the different things. And then, there's, I had been at some car shows, and I had the Rari, right? And
which one?
I was not the one I wrecked.
Okay.
So that was a 488, and both of them actually been 488s. This one's just newer.
Sure.
So that being said, we had I was looking around at all these people at the car shows. And I'm seeing all these Montana plates, and I'm like, there's got to be something going here in Montana because this is way too common. I don't think all these people are from Montana.
100%.
So I started looking into it, only to come to find out you can register an LLC in Montana. You do not have to be present.
Sales tax.
You don't pay sales tax. You don't pay personal property tax. Now you do pay, if it's over $250,000, you do pay what they call a Ferrari tax. Okay.
It's legitimately called a Ferrari,
not
a Lambo tax.
It was nicknamed that. Well, they know who leads the industry, right?
Yeah,
right? The F1s, all that. But I'm just playing. I love Porsches and Lamborghinis. Well, everybody
can I give you a huge compliment to you for what I've seen. If you're unable to pivot, if you're unable to always adapt and overcome any situation, and if you're not always with the mindset of being proactive versus reactive, you're going to get left behind, right? What I really like about you and your model was you started with a niche. You saw that it was such a saturated market amongst the typical insurance. Everyone has 12 realtor friends, 12 insurance agents, right? It's just how it works. And you went into a niche that other people, for some reason, were not going after, that had higher premiums, better percentage, which it was the, what was it called? SR22s.
Yeah.
That was, I thought, such a smart play, which what it did was it allowed you to grow now to become because that one was called something different. But now it allows you to do select, which now you have all of the name brand or all of the typical sellers, right?
Yeah.
And you are always growing in the right way, and you understand those niches they're valuable to whenever you have total. And I saw the post about you where they put a shout out to you about Montana. Like, I thought that's a very detailed niche too. It wasn't just exotic vehicles. It was, I'll take care of your Montana. I'll do this. And I provide this. Very smart.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things about the SR22 that a lot of people have the misinterpretation, they see that a lot of times as a DUI, crap business, nobody wants it.
Right.
A lot of the captive guys, they can't get rid of it fast enough. And it was a market that was people, first off, there's more bad drivers than good drivers.
Of course.
Okay. So we can all deny that or whatever, but it's facts. There's more bad drivers than good drivers.
It's PMI insurance, like on mortgage, is the SR22.
So
there's not even much risk because you still have your regular insurance.
A lot of these people don't even have cars.
Oh, really?
It's named not owners, but because the state doesn't care how you formulate it, they just want proof of financial responsibility.
I didn't realize that. So SR22 is not just for your car. Nope. That's for the individual.
It's for the individual because the state doesn't care how you formulate it. If you put it with a car, don't put it with a car, whatever, it's kind of almost like a bond. Right. And then actually in Ohio, they have a bond for that. And what it does is it just basically says that, hey, Mark, if I cause injury or accident to you, I have some collateral to be able to pay you that's in accordance to what the state says is the minimum on there. But what a lot of people didn't get is that SR22, you quit paying that SR22, the state cancels your license. So you have an instant retention builder in there.
Sure.
So I'm not going after the customer that's looking to be able to get a plate, tag it, and drop their insurance the next month. I'm not looking for that. That's not the business that I'm in. It's a calculated risk.
Yeah.
And I had seen that, but it was through my own experience that I'd seen it because I have had an SR22. I have unfortunately been a habitual offender in DUIs. I had a major problem, and I saw that the system took a complete stronghold on me. And it was unforgiving. You were. You can say shit. That's fine. That's how we'll say shit together.
All right.
About that, right? So
Yeah. I mean, you had an approach. You were very smart about it. You were, and you continue doing it with the Montana, with the RVs or the auto sports, the boats. It's fun to watch you grow. So, like for us, that's what we're doing. So we did something last year that we have never done. I've never done. I've owned my first business since '07, sold it in 22, and there was a lot of structure that I almost fiend for. I just when it came to goals and goals being set, right? So obviously we're doing our annual budgets, broken down quarterly, broken down 3 months, and they're really detailed. But what we also did was a 2024 full blown breakdown of all the policies we're launching, and we created a model of what has high need, and what would be most beneficial for us early on. So we set up an annual plan, knowing exactly what policies we're going to be launching when, what verticals we're going after. So obviously we've been going after sellers, which you also have sellers with Mr. Insurance. So you're out there looking to help insurance agents, right?
Yeah, it's a marketing approach with that. So I also found a niche in that, again, from my own experiences.
Right.
I noticed that there are a lot of personal experiences that I have had, and I've noticed there are a lot of people that have had very similar experiences. Right. They're tired of having the hot air blown at them.
Yep.
They're tired of hearing, I'm going to get you all these results, 100%. Mark, pay up, put all this money up front.
Right.
Oh, Mark, but you need to be patient. You just need to wait, just be a little bit more patient.
Right.
Give us a little bit more money. And you continue to keep giving the money, but the results and the ROI aren't coming back to you.
So I'm doing the same thing. All right. So I have a group of sellers, and we have been incredibly fortunate. And what I'm seeing is it's really being done off of my experience as well, from what I saw on how sellers were kind of looked at as like we're not looked at with that same respect as other, and for I honestly no reason except I think they can. A lot of sellers are just very unaware of the different opportunities it does to become a seller. We have a very strong due diligence process for every one of our sellers. So every month we do audits on. We just ensure that they are, we'll know if they ever go down, like try to do marketing that is not on our, that we do not allow, the refunding customers immediately, listen to phone calls. So we do audits. So
how many mailers of guys, mail houses and things have you paid into only to get crap results? And they're
all the time.
It can literally ruin your business.
Well, it's in the inconsistent. The only thing consistent is the inconsistency. So I really saw how you, because I see what you're talking about with like insurance brokers, and I'm also seeing the same thing. So whenever I'm speaking with these new sellers and I'm letting them know, and I'm not begging for I'm just letting them know this is what I've learned and this is what we do differently. Mm-hmm. And the only thing I ask is give us a shot and allow us to get market share or the majority share of. But if I don't earn it, drop me. If I don't deserve it, drop me. And I see the same thing with you. But how do you get? That's what a good thing that I'm seeing is getting them to see that it's not because. Is this talk? Is the same hot air that I hear from everybody? So
I encounter it all the time.
All the time, right?
That's why I said, listen, I have personally been through this experience.
Right.
I know the different ways the things that don't work.
Right.
Okay. Like I had a guy that came to me and he's in the Medicare market, right? And you think the Medicare market is like 75, 80 years old, maybe somewhere up in there. Those are not people that are on social media that want to hear about like, what's your favorite cheeseburger,
right.
Or something like that. And I was like, how does that get you any attention?
Right.
It's not giving you an ROI. It's great to see yourself on the camera and everything.
It's an ego thing, right.
But ego comes with a price.
Right.
Or
it should come with the profit. If you're going to put your ego out
right?
there for the need of marketing,
it
better be producing profit. Yeah.
The thing is that we are results guaranteed. I put a guarantee on there because I know that if they follow the system that I'm going to put out there in front of them and I'm going to put myself into it 1,000%. And if that person doesn't get those results, I work for free.
Do you mind if I bring up something? I won't bring up names, but there was a situation, and the reason why I wanted to bring this up was it is so easy to discredit when somebody is literally telling you they have seen it, they are wanting to change the industry. I think it's normal for them to assume, okay, this is a sales pitch. Are they really going to back it, right? I can back up Steve, what I've seen with my own eyes. And whenever he started, so you guys got into Trustway Warranty Services, right?
Mm-hmm.
You and I discussed it prior. And I was just kind of providing my experience, but Steve, that company received really bad advice and was put under a contract that was, I would assume,
not good. Wasn't in our best interest.
It was beyond in the best interest. I would say the contract was designed, set up, knowing that he was going to put you under, but they knew they were going to make up so much money off of you. From what I read, just so the pieces on it, it was clear as day. They didn't think you knew what you were how to do this.
Well,
and
you can't be trusting in
but
anything
I see this
anymore.
all the time with these different sellers, and that's why I'm out there doing the same thing you're doing. Is like, guys, even if you don't work with me, even if you choose not to, I have a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge of what I've seen. I have no problem bringing up what's best for you, because
you showed me all that.
But right, and it's not for any other reason except I enjoy helping people. I enjoy being there for people. I understand the pieces on both sides. I understand how important it is that I take care of their customers, because that's the big, I think a big issue in my industry, at least, is, the selling. I had an insurance policy that I had to get through for one of my rentals, and I had a flood, and this insurance company declined it for it was like,
was
tornado.
That a floodplain?
No. It was frozen pipes, and I'm fighting with these guys. But I was pretty upset with the seller that sold me this policy. That it was because it was an Airbnb, and I had to find a specialty seller on it.
Yeah.
Or I don't even know the insurance company's name. Literally, it was like I've never even heard of them.
Yeah.
But so I'm fighting with these guys, but it made the seller look. Bad, because they're not going to back it up. So understanding like the impact I have on these sellers' customers is everything of how they're being treated. It's free to be kind and to care and just show a little bit more concern, empathy, be able to offer your resources to still assist them, even if it's a claim that's denied. We'll still help adjudicate their claims for them, just so they are looking at our customer as, okay, they are. You know what I'm saying? And we will thoroughly explain if it is a denied one. It's a letter of the law. We also thoroughly explain. We're not looking for ways out of paying a claim, but we're also, it needs to be a covered component. So
you also run an up and standing business. There's a lot of people that don't. And I will tell you, insurance companies over the years, I have watched specifically over these past couple of years, I've watched insurance companies make some really, really interesting moves. And let me tell you why I've been able to kind of decode this. Okay. So you have insurance companies, the leaders of industry. If you look at Allstate bought National General, you have where Farmers bought, they have Foremost and Bristol West, right? They have where State Farm ended up buying Gainsco.
I had no idea.
So you have all these companies that are the leaders of industry,
okay,
that are now buying
all the other ones.
all the substandard carriers. Why?
You know why?
It's because it's the game of pass the trash. That's the reason why.
Is it?
And
or is it to open up different niches and make themselves more competitive, knowing both sides?
Well, because the market on the more standard and preferred side is a very, what I'm going to call an AI market. Okay. I can literally on certain things, from being in claims management and spending time in underwriting and everything. This is my earlier days. Okay.
Sure.
So, you can look at the facts and figures and you can say, Mark is a 40-year-old man with a family. He lives in this zip code. This is his income range, and boom, boom. This is what he's expected to perform as.
Sure.
And they get pretty damn close on the performance of it. If you don't perform like that, that's fine. Well, we'll just cancel you. But we have this other company that you can go to on here. So we grabbed the big mitt over here and we're like, okay, well, we'll catch all the customers.
Sure.
And we had this inflow of customers that were, right on the borderline of like not being, the perfects. Okay. And then they came to our side of the fence over here and it was in mass proportion. But you got companies that are pulling out of states, canceling contracts. Some of these agents have been glued to this business for decades.
Right.
And just overnight, their business is over.
Right.
How can you live like that?
The uncertainty of never knowing.
It was so. I wanted to look at where is this market going, and I'm watching a lot of these different things, and I am going to protect every single agent that comes through here to make sure that they avoid the bum rush that keeps coming at us.
Guys, if you're an agent, I am telling you, people talk nonsense. People talk out of their ass, and I've seen it with my own eyes. And that example I gave, like, Steve will back it up. He truly cares of, and I'm not just saying that. I mean, I'm telling you, I observed it with my own eyes, because I feel the same way.
I have a
not
different
about
agenda.
money. I always know I've lived this way, and I've lived. It doesn't matter to me. I don't care. I will always. I have my wife. I have my kids, and life is always going to be. That's all I need, to be honest with you.
You're an awesome dad and a husband, too, by the way.
I agree with you. Same with you. I appreciate you saying that. That's like the biggest compliment you could ever get is...
your kids are good kids. Our kids are besties.
Yeah, dude. My young son and Chaser is... and I love how Kyler looks out for him because Kyler's a little bit older. Yeah. At school, he does. Chase is just the biggest hearted, just...
He gets that from his mom.
God, I mean, I swear, like
he's an animal though on the field.
Dude, I mean,
he's like a different kid on the football field. Like he plays center,
right?
Because he's okay. So Angie's side of the family
he's like a sicker one.
They are stocky and like muscular, right?
Right.
And Chase, he was center, and his coach gave him an opportunity. Because a lot of, like you were just saying, the political stuff, right? A lot of these teams are already 100%. They already got kids in there. Sure. Just like hockey. You guys are big in hockey.
We are.
And your kids are awesome. But Chase was like a different kid. I was like, whoa. I was like, was that my kid that just sacked the dude, like the quarterback?
Right.
Stuff, and I mean, he's like pushing guys out of the way and holding people back, and they had him on offensive and defensive line, and he loved it. It was awesome, and he shined at it, and he did so freaking well. But at the same point in time, Chase is, gonna. He has all his mother's.
He is his attention. He is always on the
very loving kid.
Yeah. But he is and so is Maddie, and so my son Ron, like.
I got good attributes in that. I picked a good partner that had.
That's the most important thing for a man.
She has all that. I am like, I don't know, man. I'm a heartless bastard. Like on some of this stuff, right? I'm just like rub some dirt in it, and get over it.
I think that's
and that's I'm like be a man, and that kind of thing. I was raised like that.
That's what I think. That's still our job is to.
But my wife has taught me that it's okay to show your emotions.
100%.
And but it's not okay to maybe act on those emotions.
But admit your faults. So I made some faults for my first two kids whenever I didn't realize I was still learning to be a dad, and I was much harder on them. And Rylan and Caden they are both phenomenal. I am so damn proud of both of them, and they both have different. So one of them is he's a worker. He wants to own his own company. Rylan does, and the kid is always on it. And then Caden, obviously, so big into sports, hockey, is doing so well. I've seen him so happy. And then Braley Girl is oh my God.
She's
Really?
such a good kid,
Dude,
man.
she
Like,
is such a goofball, and
you
the
better
sweet.
like
She's
stock
gonna be
up
the
on your
glue.
shotguns
Well,
on
yeah.
that
Well,
shit.
she's
Like,
gonna be the glue of the brothers growing up.
yeah.
Like
Can you
that's
imagine you're
important.
growing up with all brothers
Yeah.
that'll whoop that ass
Yes,
and
I will.
freaking, so that's like another thing I'm real happy about with Maddie because they're
Right.
super protected. But Maddie literally taught me that nothing else mattered other than my time and my presence.
Right.
And, I watched a guy on social media, right? So Sean Whalen. I follow a lot of this guy's stuff and, like what he says out
Sure.
there. And I think he's got some really gold content because he really comes from the heart of what he's talking about. And he talked about that there's so many parents that they're just putting their kids off onto, YouTube videos and TV and Oculus and all this other crap that they have to be able to do this. So, these kids, they want to be like YouTube sensations and things. And they're basically, they're learning from these guys. And we have failed as parents because
Yeah, exactly.
because we've been lazy.
And we're not the ones teaching them and molding them. We're allowing these that do not have the same morals, same integrity,
Right.
Don't understand what they're trying to teach or where they're going with it. It's a very dangerous thing. I will not let my younger ones. I regret even the older ones letting them have TikTok. And I know, my company's on TikTok, but. I can't. I think we all had to be extra vigilant to make sure we know who is influencing our kids.
I literally I have people that manage that stuff now. Like I've almost become totally disconnected with it because it's. You turn on. I guess it's called X now or whatever, not Twitter anymore.
Twitter. X
and
is
it
great.
literally is rated X.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of porn and all kinds of crap.
They just took it all out.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they removed it.
Good for
Musk, he's adding now has Messenger and now has X is going to be the platform that has, from what it sounds like, payment plans or not payment plans, like similar to PayPal. They'll have that. They just added audio and video calls.
So you can advertise.
They are trying to do all, and that's what he's been saying. But yeah, before it was crazy.
Well, look at Instagram. There's some chick that's got an OnlyFans that pops up every other thing.
About with our kids, and I think just staying on. It's a tough time, but
listen, at the end of the day, like I said, we just trying to be better as parents, as spouses, trying to be the only thing that really, truly, truly matters at the end of the day is who's going to be around your bed when you pass. Right. And that's going to be your wife. That's going to be your kids.
Probably grandkids.
Grandkids, that kind of stuff, your immediate family, that unit. And that's where I've seen you guys perform as parents. And I really, really, my hat's off to you guys. I see you very active in your kids' lives. I see you constantly at the hockey arenas and everything else. I know your kids are killing it. Now,
we're doing vacations.
I'm formerly
now.
from Chaminade, okay? So you went to your boys, they go to a different school.
We did go to a
competitor school of mine, but you know what? They've got a great teaching background and they, good
we're
morals
the
and ethics and stuff.
It's so Chaminade, so CBC, SLU, all of those. And I'll tell you the reason why. So my first company, I always gave myself the goal. The reason why I wanted to be self-employed was to be able to go where anytime I want with my wife, my kids, and I don't really do that. We have scheduled just like everyone else now, but I was always traveling, always. Even if I would always be at work, and even if I came home, I was still working until. So I was there, and being able to get a fresh start right now, the way with
it was a big leap, man.
Yeah, it's been fantastic, and so if there are any sellers out there that are looking for a new admin, a new administrator, or just want to test out on. We now offer vehicle service contracts as well. We're adding on. We have a slew of products planned for this year, but we're now launching our new realtor policy. It's called Hero Protects, and we've signed up several realtors already. And again, it's around. We understand all the pain points of the realtors. But also for insurance, if it makes sense, we're launching that vertical. But if you're a realtor, a title company, mortgage company. Just to test a new admin to show the difference of whenever you have an administrator that truly looks after your customer, where they're not contacting you upset because a claim's not paid. They're not not only should you not be, our whole plan is like, or our whole objective is that never happens.
Yeah.
But also that we are going above and beyond providing additional value for those realtors by including them in all marketing, future marketing, making sure that trying to get referrals for these realtors from this customer base based off of how we treat these customers, what we do for these customers. And we're really excited about it. We have a couple other verticals. Obviously, the insurance side is a big one that it just makes sense for the brokers. But I think I mean, it's great to see your what came up with the idea of Mr. Insurance, where because it sounds like all right. So you set up insurance companies, right? Or you if they have it, they work with you, and you kind of provide the oversight of the marketing and. Or if they're a new person, you provide everything.
Yeah, it's a business it's a business in a box, and there's a couple of different layers of different approaches that we can do with that.
Yeah.
But ultimately, we're looking to be able to help the agent to not fall into some of the same potholes that I fell into, and try and be able to put them on the steady on that. Now they have to follow what I'm telling them to do to be able to get me to give them those guarantees. But I always say it's like the trainer approach, right? A physical trainer approach.
Right.
I can't, watch you so that you do your fasted cardio. I can't watch everything that goes into your mouth. But at the end of the day, the numbers are they're gonna show through. So if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, if you're not following the plan, then you're not going to arrive like you're supposed to arrive.
Right.
If you're following the plan and you're doing what you're supposed to do, you will guaranteed get to this point based on the data that we can be able to show, based on the success track that we can be able to show.
And if you're dealing with real agents that are true entrepreneurs, you don't need to worry about whether or not they're doing the legwork, or are they really actually. They are, or they should be, right? The ones that are truly motivated and driven, that they want to grow.
Something that was very interesting to me with this, okay? And
how much time
we got like 5 minutes. That's fine. You're good. But something that was really interesting to me. So as I was working with some of the, I'm going to say the guys that were newer into it, that were, you got two levels of things. You got guys that just like kind of wanted to go all in, and they, these guys would be massively successful. And then you had more of the timid person, right? And they wouldn't want to, really invest in themselves and that kind of thing. And you could literally offer them anything and everything, and they would take the free stuff all day long and take all your time that went with it.
Right.
But you had to really look at that of, if you're not willing to invest into yourself, then why are you wanting me to invest into you?
Well, no customer is going to invest in you either.
We take what that person, in a large majority of what that person contributes to us fund-wise, to give them a foundation. We force it into the right areas to where it benefits them. So they're basically paying for themselves, paying for the deals. We have people that have been vetted and that we know. I personally use, like I'm in the studio of somebody that we personally use. I trust him. I know that he does good work, but it comes at a cost, and you have to be willing to invest into that cost. I can't do that for free. On the guarantees, if you do what we tell you to do, again, you'll arrive at where we're going to tell you. You're going to see that return on interest. But if you're looking for that return of interest right away, it's not going to happen. And that's not to put you off. Like, you're going to gain some momentum and you'll start seeing some things, but your true like return on investment, you're looking at about 90 days.
You're building your foundation for future growth.
Well, that's where
future success.
Yeah, that's where
that's
check
what we're all
plan is
doing,
at.
right?
Yeah, and I mean, I have learned to not maybe focus on that 80%.
Right.
I'm looking at focusing more on the 20%.
Your time is valuable. You can definitely get trapped into spending a lot of your time on people that are, well, one, are just not in it, but are there to use. And I'm really proud of the point of life I'm at, where I work with people who I want to work with. I know who I am. I know they are going to have an ethical partner who will truly be there for them, have their back, and I'm no longer wasting that on people that are undeserving of it.
You got to learn to draw your boundaries
Right.
around yourself.
It takes time. It takes time to learn those boundaries, especially as a business leader, because you're thinking, I don't want to miss out on. But those boundaries must be set. And,
well, the thing is that people respect you more for telling you no, and then you dancing around. There's all too many people that I run across. You know, they'll sit there, and I'm real blunt in this. I'm just like, are we in or are we not?
right.
Are you going to do this or are you not?
Right.
Just hit me with it so that we're not sitting here and, you know, we're volleying back and forth and I'm putting all this time and energy into this stuff. If we're not going to do anything, I just need to know. It's nothing personal or whatever. Like, I could be putting my time into something else.
Right.
And I've learned to protect that. And like you were saying, you know, I won't just work with anybody. I won't just take every warm body that comes through. There are people that want to throw money at what we're doing because they see that it's working and it's working good. Okay. But I won't just take on anybody.
You've already experienced. You did. And look what it was a selling your soul situation of I mean
I had a really bad situation with I trusted a guy big time.
Yes.
I spoke on his stage. And the guy let me down in a big, big way. And he's kind of a big name in the industry. And I'm not here to sit here.
What happened?
There was a lot of money went out to be able to get a product that was never delivered upon.
Okay.
And was never intended to be delivered upon. And
so the money was like knowingly going to
his pocket.
His pocket.
Yeah. And that has been with a lot of the different marketers. And I am tired of it. And I hope other people are tired of it as well. And that they want to do something about it.
Listen, if somebody is active, if they made a promise that they are going to, this money was allegedly being spent, right? You were given the money for a product to be created, developed, what?
Yeah, it was to be able to basically create the Mr. Insurance Marketing, right?
And you gave them money. Was there anything provided for you?
There was after constant, you know, hassling and constant this sort of thing, but it was done on such a minute proportion. The turning factor was when I was at this conference that I spoke at. Right,
I know which one. Come on, yeah.
And you know, again, I'm not here to sit here and to bash people. It's just not what
about bashing. But I think to look. I mean, if we truly look out for those that like we want to work with, we need to look out for them. And it's not by bashing. It's just all you are is explaining the situation. This is what happened to you. You don't got to say his name. This is what happened to you. A big name. And if it was done to you, there's no doubt.
It was done to multiple people.
Exactly, right.
And I had a lot of people that came to me and was like, man, I had this happen to me as well.
Did he make it right and pay you back the money?
Nope.
So like for Aegis, what I saw was there were so many individuals, outside vendors taking advantage of, and we put our foot down and said, we're done. Like for some reason. Yeah. And
well, and then the guy had said, well, you're locked into a contract and everything. And, you know, I said, well, you violated that contract when you didn't provide the service.
Absolutely.
And we have asked for this, and this, and it's never happened.
Right.
And the thing is with it, again, that guy, he's going to shoot himself in the foot. It's already started to happen.
Yeah, 100%.
You're going to get a reputation in the business. It's not going to be me that has to say anything. He'll tell on himself.
Right.
And people are already recognizing that. And that empire that was once built that was amazing will come crumbling down. I will tell you, I had a setback after almost 7 years being sober, where I was so upset because I trusted this guy, considered him a friend.
Yeah.
And it bothered me so much. And I watched all these people that came to me and was like, you know, man, like I had this thriving business and everything else. And I gave this guy so much money and everything. And he didn't do anything for me that was promised. And, you know, I'm literally like on my last paycheck now. I put everything into it. The guy is a con man, you know, that kind of thing. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, again, this guy, he has to rest his head at night.
But here's the problem. Yeah, he does. But if he's still actively out there going after the individuals you're looking to look out for, right? like truly look out for. And I'm not saying,
Oh, I'm coming for him.
well, here, like, listen, people, for some reason, individuals might look at those that are looking to do good, truly make a difference. They're ambitious, right?
Yeah.
So they might make a target, and it sounds like somebody, without a doubt, I think karma is going to absolutely occur. But
Karma and Steve.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, if wasting any energy, in my opinion, at least, wasting any energy on people that are just, I'm not even implying anger towards. I will say, that were to happen, getting that money back would be, especially if like it was so bad where you did relapse.
I literally had a recording of the guy saying he was going to deliver a product, unbeknownst to him.
Yeah,
and I played it for him. And he still was like, well, we never promised that. And I was like, it's right there in front of you. And it didn't happen.
Right.
But listen, at the end of the day, I'm going to take that as a learning experience. And I'm going to fix that. And I'm going to make sure other people never have to deal with that ever again. And I'm going to go and I'm going to create where we're going to do those things. We're going to change it in the market. And if that guy continues to do what he's doing, he won't have a business.
Well, can you just say what state he's out of? Just so insurance agents.
He's local here in Missouri.
He's a Missouri person.
He's in Missouri.
Huh? Yeah. Okay.
And so here's the thing is with that, like I said, I am on a mission to do something different. I'm not here to bash people. That will all come back around full circle, and I promise you it will. But in the meantime of that, every time that this guy goes looking for the fish, I'm going to have it on the line. I'm coming for him. I'm coming both barrels freaking pointed.
Oh, that's why you started Mr. Insurance Marketing.
Yep. It's personal.
You know what? Honestly, I mean, that's how a lot of companies start. A lot of really good companies start because you see that there's service that is needed but not available.
I'm going to run the dude down. Therefore, I'm telling you.
And I mean, I feel like I'm doing the same exact thing where just being open and transparent with my sellers, and not just because what I say is like the accountability factor is critical to hold me accountable. Everything I'm saying. I'm giving you every resource to make sure that you're able to reconcile every cent when it comes to our business together. And there's a reason why. It's just so you never have that thought in your mind up. Or if you do, you can look it up. So it's because I know what you're used to.
I have to take accountability for myself and my actions, and the way I reacted to the disappointment was by going back to old habits.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
And I set back, but I immediately rechecked myself.
Of course.
I immediately came back to what I knew was the right things, and I got myself together. And you saw some real true colors come out in a person that claimed to be a renowned Christian, a person that claimed to be a family man, a guy that claimed to be such an amazing businessman, and just like disgusting.
Right.
And so, but like I said, that's just more fuel for my fire.
Yeah. I mean, I know how the thought of feeling taken advantage as a man, it is a pretty horrible feeling. And to think that you gave that kind of power to this individual, that it just sounds like he's just a complete
well, he saw a successful guy in front of him that was
ambitious.
I'm ambitious. I'm in the, I come from a sports background, very, very competitive sports. I was always, in sports. That was what we did. Like we competed, man.
Right.
And like we went full force and we competed every time that we were on that field.
Right.
And it's no different when it comes to business. Like business is a competition for me. And I'm constantly trying to be able to make new marks for myself.
Sure.
And the Mr. Insurance thing with the Mr. Insurance Marketing, I should say.
That's the in the box, right?
It came, that was the business in the box, the idea, but it was the marketing company that was able to pull in those different things.
That's
and then we
part.
handed off to another company, and it's not always Select Insurance Group. It's a referral source.
No, I get it.
Where I can, so I might have an agent, like I've had plenty of agents that come to me, and they're like, we do life insurance, or we do Medicare, or we do IULs, or, whatever, annuities. I got, and I'm like, that's not what we do as like with Select Insurance. So it's not a good fit for that. So what we do is we put them together with people that are vetted, guys that are a part of our, circle of, it's the Titan Circle, Trusted Titan Circle.
Sure.
And we have it to where we pass that over to that person, and then we have it to where, that we have that person go over there, and then they make money for the person that we just referred to.
Of course.
And we don't get paid until they have given them a return on their investment.
Sure.
So it's a guaranteed, no risk,
Right.
all reward. And we put people in a position to be able to succeed. And we're doing what's right.
You're
right,
helping the customer is seeking this out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of agents that freaking have the same problem.
I'm telling you, I just want to be told, like, tell me who to go to. That's the best. That is the most reputable. That is, and I would trust your referral. And that referral, it means a lot.
So let me tell you. So my neighbor, you know Brad?
Brad, which one was he?
He's my neighbor.
If I'm looking at your house, right? Go ahead.
So anyway,
is it to the left?
It's where Ron's old house is at.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure.
Okay, right?
The new guy.
Yes.
Okay.
So Brad's Brad Stricker, right? So Brad is a very successful businessman. Similar things, like he sold a piece of his company or whatever about a year ago. But this guy with referrals, man, I mean, like, everybody from, like, my pool lady, I didn't even know half of this stuff could even be done. Like, she's like, I go there, and so we've had the one skimmer that, like, has, like, since we moved in, it worked when we moved in, but, like, all of a sudden it was like something was clogged, or I'm not sure. Well, my kids take their socks off in the pool like idiots, right? So she was like, hey, we pressurized this because it seemed like it was backed up a little bit, and, like, a tube sock came shot out of there. And, so that's working perfectly now.
Sure,
and then she had the filter all broke down, like acid washed and cleaned up and everything else. And I'm like, do you use Lynn?
Refer over.
No, I don't. No, you need to. I'm telling you, it's freaking amazing.
Okay.
But she did all that. She, like, broke everything down, like, buttoned everything up, like, took care of this, like, went out, like, showed me the products, and what, like, she's like, well, your pool's green. I'm sitting here trying to play scientist every year, and, like, the pretty pool boy, right? And I've got a swamp. And I'm like, I put all the chemicals in it, but it didn't look like the picture.
Sure.
After I put it all in there.
Right.
She was like, well, that's because your water temperature is this, and you have to use this to counteract this and everything. I'm like, you know what?
Yeah, shoot me that text over for sure.
Bill Nye the science guy over here or whatever, right? So you got.
But the referrals are so important because also,
she's amazing.
Especially for your agents. You have a lot of agents underneath you, right?
I do.
So the obviously the objective is, how do you make your agents more successful by obviously being with you without sacrificing the customers or your reputation, your integrity with your customers. And it's by adding additional products the customer is probably getting elsewhere, and why not? And that's why. So we put together a plan strictly for insurance agents. And just so everyone is aware, it is very difficult to be nationwide insured for an insurance company like Steve's. Mm-hmm. So we've spoken with only a couple of companies. It's highly rare. Typically, they're insured in 1 or 2 states, right? Being nationwide says a lot. That must have taken.
Yeah.
That
literally
must have
sold myself to the devil.
Yeah, from what I understand, it is a. It's not really heard of for independent insurance agents,
especially ongoing anymore, because like I said, a lot of these places they're not allowing agents to be in states that they don't live in, or the surrounding states if the state doesn't touch.
Oh, is that new legislation coming out?
Well, it's how they're able to control losses better, because your own area better than anybody that. It's like if we said, hey, like, where'd you go to high school? Like, you already know.
But
what's the only lake in Missouri?
Safeco, though. Safeco is the one keeping track of that data, though. Why? It's not the independent agent.
But if you said, I'm going to write somebody in Chesterfield, Missouri, or I'm going to write somebody in Florissant,
Sure.
like, what's going to be the high risk and what's going to be the preferred risk
Well, I would say
in accordance to the area.
Yeah, I would say.
The
I mean,
demographics.
there would probably be a difference in premium for sure, but but it should be mutual. I mean, the risk.
Let's say
the
Jennings.
risk is.
Let's go Jennings.
I don't want to go
Riverview.
there.
What I'm saying is
Yeah.
that there is different geographical areas
100%.
that you know that
have more risk than others.
Exactly.
Such as yeah.
So that's what they're saying is
But the insurance agent doesn't have influence on the rates though.
it doesn't
On the
but
back end, right?
we do field underwriting. Okay, so
The drive-by, you're saying?
no, well, the field underwriting is like over the phone, like we're hearing things out. Like I got a guy that's like, "Hey, I drive my Lamborghini as my daily driver." Well, that's like a big no-no.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, one, why?
Yeah.
And two,
Is it like a 18 or 1984 or something like that?
No, it's like a 2016, like an Aventador, like a nice freaking like exotic car.
He loves his car. Good for him.
I mean, right? But insurance company wise, I can't go to the insurance company and be like, "Hey, he only drives 1,000 miles a year. He's driving it every day."
So
The
you're
risk
providing
is totally
input
different.
That does influence.
Yeah, it's your field underwriting.
All right.
So
Okay, that makes sense.
anyway, as far as so something you had said about making other people around you better.
Yeah.
I follow this social media influencer, and I actually spoke on the same stage as him, Andy Elliott. This guy is doing big things in business, and he is very outspoken, and he is very blunt. And you either love him or you hate him.
Sure.
And not everybody wants to hear the truth. But what he said is that really, really hit me. Is he said, if you are not making other people wealthy around you, if you're wealthy and you're just taking it all in, you're a piece of shit. You're not helping other people to come up. When you help other people to become millionaires, you're going to become, an 8 or a 9-figure millionaire.
I mean, I think it's different though. Like, are you talking about your friend from high school that is, or are you talking about somebody that
wants to work hard?
So okay, yeah. I mean, like I'm in a part of an executive group. It's a team. It's called.
But you're making people better around you through, like you were saying, the executives, people that are your upper management. They are
fantastic.
They're able to run their families because of what foundation you're providing.
I'm able to run my family because of what they provide me.
Exactly.
And I'll tell you
that's what he's talking about. It's not like the person that doesn't want to do anything. Right. They just want to make a bunch of money.
Yeah.
Now, like you had, what was it? The former owner of the Mavericks, Mark Cuban.
Yeah, Mark Cuban.
Where he gave like $1 billion or something like that, and he spread it out among all the employees or something. That's pretty cool, but that's called a tax deduction.
Right. But I think he did it for the right reason.
Did he?
In my opinion, he had so much money that he just sold it for an incredible amount of money.
Pay taxes or give back.
But I mean, he sold it for that much money, and he didn't give away hundreds of millions. He didn't give away tens of millions.
I would rather give it to the employees than the government too.
So would I. And that's typical. Listen, your team, which consists of employee, like whatever, team is the most critical.
Yeah,
because your vision, your company, who you are as a company means nothing if everyone's not included and involved with it. And one of the silliest things I always found out is how leaders do not take the advice of everyone. They're the ones, I'm telling you, the majority of the best ideas come from them. Just allow them to speak with you. And it is insightful. Some people are not, it's not them, right? They're not going to be the ones coming up with all these ideas.
Worried they're going to take over. Like
that's the idea. You want to grow them. Like I know our growth trajectory. So we're bringing on so many, our contract count is explode. We're expecting an explosion, right? Yeah. And so we have our growth plan, and the only way that works is by creating and developing leaders. And by doing that, we treat everyone like adults. I always felt it was having a grown man call another grown man and say, "Hey, do you mind if I'm sick?" And I understand there is a respect factor, but listen. If you're sick, I don't need anybody to be concerned about or if they're going to work from home. I care about results. Yeah. That's all I care about is results, integrity, and the people that are trying to take advantage of it, they're not gonna make it anyway. So it does not matter
Yeah.
versus given the freedom and that you would expect, the respect that you would expect. So, and it's
I try to live by that too in the business of, treat others the way that you want to be treated and try and look out for them and try and be able to help them, build them, and grow them. And that's been, I feel, one of, my biggest attributes with that of why I feel like I've started getting the right people in there. This new movement, it's something totally different. It is something that is not money driven. It's not ego driven. Now, yes, it's very personal for me on those things, but I just want to be able to help these guys and give back to the business that gave so much to me.
Yeah. And I mean, of course, it does cause additional opportunities for you too, which is why you're also, and your company now consists of, you're obviously an insurance agent. You have agents under you. You're now able to offer the marketing, which is the toughest, most hard. That's the hardest piece. Any company out there, the marketing is everything. That is either makes you or breaks you. You have the secret sauce.
We have an amazing team, and we have figured out all of the different corners that we need to fulfill for them. So like agents fail in many times because they don't have people to talk to. And then agents also fail because they don't get paid fast. We've figured out both of those things. And then when the agent does start selling, then a lot of times they're overshadowed by chargebacks or customer service.
Right.
Okay. So we figured out a way how to be able to get rid of both of those things, right? Be able to get you paid fast, be able to get you leads, be able to get it to where you are not faced with those things. Why? Because we now install the admin into those places.
Right,
and we do it for a very small fraction of cost of what it basically costs, even less than what it costs to be able to operate.
Of course, you're going to be charging something. You should. That's what a good partnership does. Anytime we work together, I expect you to make money and us, but be fair.
I have somebody that if that person lapses, that person goes in and says, hey, I'm working with Mark. We had noticed, that you fell off the radar over here, and so we're looking to try and win your love back and bring you back on. We have a person that brings them back on. We have a person
that's huge.
Sends them through the line again when they renew.
Right.
We have, where there's opportunities for that person to be put back in front of their original agent.
Right.
But we provide all the pain points. We provide all that for the agent so that they are massively successful and they can focus on selling and bringing money in and doing what they do best.
Absolutely.
And that's where, again, this system, it works. It works well. And there are a lot of very successful people as a result of it. I had Austin that was in here. He's one of the new partners that we have. This guy, he's blowing the doors off. This guy is freaking incredible. He's an amazing, not only just a salesperson, he's an incredible dad and he's a good friend. He's an amazing guy.
Right.
And he is adopted into the system and he is doing very, very well with it. We have multiple other success stories like that. He happens to be kind of an example of a lot of those places that stand out.
Right. Which you're always going to have. Right?
But I mean, these guys, if they see the opportunity, it's like, I can lead you to that water. I can show you where to fish at. I can show you what kind of bait to use, what kind of tackle to use. Is that what it's called? Tackle, right? So, I'm not like
lower in the
right. Yeah. I'm like more the white collar, but anyhow, as far as that goes, we help them to be able to find that success. Ultimately, it's on them to determine if they want to see that success through or if they don't.
Right.
And, we're going to be there and we're going to help them and support them every step of the way. But we're running short on time here, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to know, tell people how they can get in touch with you to be able to talk about either adding you as an admin or an opportunity to come work with you. How did they get in touch with you?
So they can reach out. So we are signing up new sellers, but our core focus is loan companies, loan providers, mortgage companies, realtors, title companies, insurance agents. Contact M. Govero, or actually just contact, I know we have a new email. Contact admin@aegishome.com. So it's AEGISHOME.com. Or you call me directly. It's 314-568-7637.
All right, cool. Man, I appreciate you
Steve,
being
thanks for
on.
having me,
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you. All right, we're out.
We're out.